feel like every time that I eat pumpkin pie, it's like good and I like it, but for some reason it feels like it's just not as good as it should be. After some thought, I've realized it's because half the ingredients are pre-made. So let's fix that.
Every time I eat pumpkin pie, it's like good and I like it, but for some reason it's not as good as it should be. After some thought, I realized because half the ingredients are pre-made. So let's fix that. Or we can make it, but better.
Alright. To start off this recipe, we're going to begin with 2 pie pumpkins. We want to cut off the heads and the bottoms. Once you're done with that part, now it's time to remove the seeds. I thought this part would have taken longer, but I removed them in under 5 minutes. Pro tip, an ice cream scoop works really well for ridding the seeds. Next, cut your pumpkins in half and lay them out flesh side up. Drizzle a neutral flavored oil over the flesh before putting them face down. After that, place them in a preheated oven at 450 degrees Fahrenheit or 205 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. Now that you hurt Mr. Pumpkin's feelings, remove them from the oven and let them cool for room temperature before removing the skins. Place the roasted pumpkin flesh in a blender or food processor and then begin to blend them until they're smooth in texture. If they're a little bit watery, that's okay. Remove the water using a fine sieve and a cheesecloth. Following that, we'll make our sweetened condensed milk. Now you could use store-bought, but it doesn't taste the same. For this, add 3.5 cups or 828 milliliters of whole milk, half a cup or 118 mLs of heavy cream, and 1 cup of brown sugar to a wide saucepan. Whisk it a bit and then head over to the stove. Bring it to a hard simmer on a high heat, and as soon as that occurs, bring the heat to medium. Also, make sure you whisk the whole time to prevent curdling. Once complete, your condensed milk should have texture similar to this or store-bought milk. Joshua Weissman uses standard cane sugar, but I love using cane sugar any way that I can. For our crust, add 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and 1 cup or 2 sticks of cold unsalted butter. During this, you're going to slowly cut your butter into small cubes before adding. This is just so that they will blend appropriately when you add them to the blender. After that, add your cubes and pulse on a low setting until you have somewhat of a dough-like texture. Remember to use slow pulsing motions if you're using a blender over a food processor. Next, pour your dough into a large mixing bowl. After that, add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and slowly add a little bit of ice water to the mix while stirring. Stir until it becomes a cohesive ball of sticky dough. Now, it doesn't take long for this, so you may need to add a little more ice water if necessary. And really just mix it for a minute or two, and then when you're done, you can begin kneading at that point. Use the back of your hands or your knuckles to manipulate your dough into a general structure or really just a nice little clump. Then, once you're done kneading, use your hands to form your dough into somewhat of a ball or dish shape. It doesn't take very long, it goes very easily, and my dough is very malleable at this point. Now, of course we can't let Joshua Weissman make a better crust than us, so be sure to give your crust some love before tossing it in the fridge for about 30 to 40 minutes. It should be no surprise that his measurements are accurate, but the condensed milk actually did weigh 396 grams like Josh said. Gather another large mixing bowl and add 15 ounces or 425 grams of pumpkin puree. After that, pour in your condensed milk. It may be a little bit thick, but that's okay. Just scrape down the sides of your bowl. Add 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a quarter teaspoon of ground cloves, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, half a teaspoon of sea salt, and a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. Lastly, add 2 eggs and 1 egg yolk. Now, I just want to say that if you can't crack an egg with one hand, man, you really need to reevaluate yourself. I'm kidding. I hadn't done this in a while, and that's why I was going so slow, but whatever. It all turned out perfectly well because I'm just perfect as it is. Also, I forgot to add the ginger, so here's a shot of everything together without the ginger. Now, if you're thinking that the custard mix looks really beautiful, you're absolutely right. And it actually looked even better in person. Begin mixing your custard until the entire thing is well custard-like. This shouldn't take very long, but when you are done, just grab your bowl and set it to the side. Once to the side, flour up your work surface and then grab a rolling pin and flatten your dough to about 1/4 inch thick and so it's large enough to hang over your pie plate. Be sure to be generous when it comes to sizing it up. If you can, make your dough as wide as possible. Fold your dough in half and then we're going to fold it in half one more time after that. Place it in the center of your pie plate and then begin unfolding it just as you did before. Be careful here though because the dough is very fragile. Once placed, rub your dough and make sure it's flushed against your pie plate and that you have extra dough hanging off the edge. Now, to get rid of this extra dough, we're going to slowly and carefully remove it with a pair of scissors or a knife if you don't have that. Lastly, begin crimping your pie crust to give it the aesthetic that we need. Once done, place parchment paper in your pie, fill it with rice, beans, or oats, or anything to weigh it down so it keeps shape as it bakes. Joshua clearly forgot to add love to his custard. After that, add lemon zest and add orange zest. Oh, I forgot to mention to bake the crust for 15 to 20 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh well, we'll wait. Once your crust is cooled to room temperature, pour your custard into your pie plate and give it a couple of taps to remove any extra air bubbles. Then, place it in the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour or until your custard is firm. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a pumpkin pie, but better. Dig in and enjoy.
What's actually better than pumpkin pie? I know. B-roll. Congrats, you made it to the end of this video. First off, I want to say thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. If you watched a couple of my previous videos, you'll know that this video, my editing has improved drastically, and I just want to say I'm a one-man team. And if you don't know, I cook by myself, I edit by myself, and I film by myself. All this is done strictly by me. There's no one helping me. So if I made you laugh or smile in some form or way, or if you just simply enjoyed this video, please go down below, smash that like and subscribe button. Go follow me on my other social media channels. They're going to keep getting better. I'm working on a lot of cool stuff. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.